batch until the adjudication's done. They have to do that, and we want them to do that because, as we learned in the audit process, when they didn't do that in 2020, we could not reconcile what was adjudicated and what was not. It's a good thing that they're doing it. It's a bad thing that they continue to refuse to work through the night to give the people the results of this election.
Okay, so really quick, we only have a minute remaining, then we're going to welcome back our radio audience. Gina, adjudication, people are worried. How many ballots are currently in adjudication, and what does that mean?
So they're not giving us the number, and we've asked the legal team to get a number from them today. Adjudication is when some team of a Republican and a Democrat are going to look at your ballot and try to determine what you meant to do when you cast that vote. The less ballots that go to adjudication, the better it is for us. The reports I'm getting is that a lot of them are a result of the judge races in Maricopa County. We had a large judicial retention, but there's room for mischief when things go into adjudication. So we're working on that number. We're going to get that for you sometime today.
So really quick, Gina, yes or no, does 4 out of 4 include voting in the primary?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you're trying to tell me 350,000 people that voted in the August primary haven't had their vote tabulated yet?
Yes.
Oh, this thing's about to get real interesting. Stay right there, Gina. Hold on. We have to take a break and welcome back radio. Please don't go anywhere, Gina. Email us freedom@charliekirk.com.
Patriots love him. Leftists hate him. Nobody ignores him. It's the Charlie Kirk Show.
Welcome back, everybody. So, Gina, what you're telling me is that you've discovered that 351,000 people that are 4 out of 4 voters that include voted in the primary in August, which means they're very high propensity Republicans, have not even had their vote tabulated yet. How did you find that number?
So Maricopa County gave us a readout this morning via our legal observers that the 292,000 election day drop-offs have completed signature verification, but have not yet begun to go to adjudication. So that's group one. Then you have the 12,000 of the 17,000 that were indoor 3 that have started to be tabulated today. So that gets you to 300,000. Then the next group of ballots that we have where there's a discrepancy as to whether or not they've completed tabulated is the 30 to 40 some odd thousand that were cast under what we call an emergency provision. Those were the de facto extension of early. These people voted on Saturday or Monday. So the part of the issue is that Maricopa County is doing a lot of communicating, but they're not communicating clearly about where these ballots are in these buckets of the process. So we have 2 observers in there that are both lawyers in one part of the facility, and they're getting different answers when they're asking this question, which would lead one to believe that it's possible that this whole 50,000 batch hasn't even begun, and that's going to take us up to about 345.
Yeah. So, but how do you know they're 4 out of 4 voters? Just through voter data, basically. Are you able to see publicly whether or not their vote has been counted? Is that right?
Well, yeah. It's the estimate of the people that we think that were in there on that day. It's the result of the EV33 report that's issued by Maricopa County that tells us who are the people that we have a record that their ballot came back. Right. So you look at the party breakdown of the record of the people whose ballot came back, and that should give you an idea if they're 3x4s or 4x4s. So generally, these are the high propensity voters. These are the people that went in, by and large, of the 292,000. These are the people that went in on election day or dropped in on election day because they wanted to make absolutely sure that their vote counted. And in fact, the reason that number is so high is because people went to vote in person. It was a complete and total shit show, if I may. And as a result of that, they went back to their car. Sorry.
No, we just get fined when we got it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we're live on radio, so the government would love to fine us.
Forgive me. I don't want you to get in trouble.
It's okay. Keep going.
All right. So they went back to their car. They got the mail ballot out of the car, and then they dropped it because they needed to make absolutely sure that their ballot counted, and they were deprived of the right to vote in person because of the total and epic failure of the Maricopa County administration.
Tyler.
Gina, there's a rumor going around that box 3 may not just be 17,000 votes in Maricopa County. Are you seeing or hearing any updated information on if there's more than 17,000 that are being tabulated?
Yes. So the elections director in Maricopa County confirmed last night that there were more than 2 vote centers that had an issue where at the end of the night, part of the poll worker breakdown process is they pull all the ballots out of the tabulator bins and they bag them. And when they pulled them out, they pulled out the separator that keeps the tabulated ballots on one side and the door 3 ballots on the other side. So if those got commingled together, and it's our understanding that they got commingled together in more than 2 vote center locations, that would mean that we have ballots that didn't get counted when they said how many went into door 3 and later began the process of sending them to tabulation. So yes, I believe there are potentially a lot more, but there are more than 17,000.
Gina, what two polling centers were those? What 2 vote centers were those? Do you know the locations?
They haven't given it to us yet, no, and there are more than 2.
Do you think those were in good areas for us or bad areas for us?
I do not know, but either way, the election day voters were ours, even in areas that might not have been generally leaning our way. There were a large proportion of people that have had enough of Biden administration policies that were pulling the ticket for our party.
So the Maricopa County, I want to reiterate this, the Maricopa County Elections Director, Scott Jarrett, confirmed to you that multiple vote centers had a massive amount of ballots that were collected and mixed in together that have yet to be tabulated, and we don't know what that outstanding number looks like yet.
It's correct that he reported it to one of our people that are on site yesterday. He didn't report it directly to me. And yes, that statement is accurate.
So it looks like that there could be a significant addition. Do you know what the average amount of vote center ballots were cast? Could you just give us a roundabout idea of how many votes were cast or dropped off at each individual vote center?
That's rough without knowing where they are, because there were some vote centers that had 1,700 voters. So that's a disparate number. But safe to say that we have more than 17,000 votes that should be counted in door 3, of which they've still only managed to get through 4,600 of the original 17,000. And they're talking about engaging in a process where they do some kind of internal attempt at reconciliation so that they can look at the data cards. The reads they're getting on the data cards in those locations aren't matching the number of ballots they have because these ballots got mixed together. So to my mind, the easiest way to ensure that every ballot got counted is just to retabulate every ballot that came in to that vote center.
Yeah, how would we know if they're just in bags?
Well, they're bagged and tagged and labeled by the vote center that they came in. So there's supposed to be a sheet in there that tells you what location that they're from. So
we can tell
the
difference between check-ins and votes that are yet to be tabulated for that vote center, correct? They already did a hand count verification of certain vote centers. Was the hand count verification done in one of these vote centers?
We don't know, because we don't know which vote centers they are, because they haven't told us.
What a mess.
We have our observer. Yeah, we have our observer reports. We had observers in the field that told us for at least 2 where they are. So we're pulling that data now. But where the other ones are, I don't know. We've reached out to all of the observer coordinators to make sure that throughout all of Maricopa County, all our data is on one sheet. And we should know within the next couple of hours, after looking at all our data, where we think they are. And then we're reaching out to get them to try to tell us what their plan is not clear to us, and they're not being transparent, as you know, in any way.
What percentage of ballots left in Pima County are late earlies versus election day drop-offs?
So it looks like, according to what Gabby said this morning, that she was conflating. It was not that there are 103,000 late early drop-offs. It's really about 50,000 late early drop-offs, and then 44 or 45,000 that came in for that Friday, Saturday, Monday. So it's about 50,000 late earlies.
So 50,000 drops, is that right?
Correct.
So those should favor us probably 55 to 57%, maybe
Correct.
even more, right?
Yeah, correct. 55 to 47, 55 to 58. We looked at that in the last drop, and we won those. Got it.
So, and then those late earlies in Pima shouldn't be as bad as some of the prior earlies. Is that right?
Yes.
So
those are not our majority voters.
Yeah. So if you blend that all together, there's a chance that Kerry or Blake get 51, 52% of the remaining votes in Pima County. Is that right?
Yep. Yes.
Which is great. That means that Katie Hobbs has she really has no counties. She has no path if that's the case.
Yep.
No matter what, period.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Signed, sealed, and delivered.